I want to drink my fucking face off.
Oh, boy.
The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Only no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters. We'll bring you the news and reviews of your favorite brews. I am Dan Baker, joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and of course the demented and fermented,
Wayne Baker.
We have an action-packed episode.
Full of action.
Full of action,
Thrills,
full of...
spills, and chills.
Yeah, I'm glad you said more to cut me off from what I was going to say because it was going down a bad place. We got a lot going on, so it's no secret that we've been doing virtual episodes for a while. I mean, because we can't really be around other people for the time being, safely at least. So we're trying to get in touch with more breweries that we've had on and are some of our favorite guests that we've had on the show, and there is a long, storied history along the way, and you know why I know? It's been almost 2 years to the day since we had one of these breweries on.
I bet you know because something on social media reminded you, because it likes to do that.
No, I know because it was when I sprained my ankle.
Oh, I remember
and
that.
Started my new job.
I remember
Yeah.
that. Wow.
Well, I mean, it's going to be great. We have a lot that we're going to get through. We have with us from Moo-Duck Brewing,
Mike Brubaker.
woo! And then joining us from Poor Man's Brewing, we have...
Samson,
Mike King, and Ryan Foltz.
Gentlemen, all of you, thank you so much for joining us.
And I'm very
And they
proud
did it in the proper
I know
order.
that you all remembered the order
We
of
can
your
follow
names that we
directions.
discussed.
Yes. So
Yeah,
peek,
confused
we
this
didn't
way,
even-
just waited it out. Follow directions.
yeah, right. Peek behind the curtain for you listening out
We
there.
didn't even rehearse it.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I'll be totally honest. So early on, I always decided like, hey, let's have the guests say their name, get the listener, more used to hearing another voice. It's not me, Wayne, or Steph. The silver lining was, added benefit was because I didn't want to fuck anybody's name up. So I just always had them introduce themselves. Now, obviously, I know all of your names, but before we started recording and going into the actual episode, I said, hey, let's, we'll do the order this way. And then I was gently reminded that we have two mics on because I started with saying, hey, Mike, you go first. And then, I looked like an ass anyway. But thank you guys for humoring me in doing that.
Wow. Let's make a second podcast that's just us starting the podcast. Remember my last suggestion?
Oh, no, I do. I was editing that part of the other thing earlier. In fact, we got to talk about that part, too.
We do.
Anyway, so we have some housekeeping we got to get into, and then we're going to go down the rabbit hole of Moo-Duck and Poor Man's. Of course, you know where to find us on the internet, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Twitter and Instagram, we are at Beer Busters. On Facebook, we are Beer Busters Podcast. There's beerbusterspodcast.com. Don't forget to add /shop so you can get some sweet, sweet swag. There's patreon.com/beerbusters where you can find your way into Last Call and other goodies. And of course, youtube.com/beerbusterspodcast. Because if you don't say podcast there, you're going to get some guys from Norway and they,
I think they're from Poland.
you're going to get some guys from somewhere else
That aren't us.
who may or may not have infringed on a copyright of a very beloved IP. Anyway, the thing that we have to say more about is Patreon. We've decided, and we've actually done it. There is more, I hate saying the word, content. Coming your way. So we've been doing, Last Call for a while now. And I'll admit there are things that I would like to talk about that are not beer. I love beer. I love people in beer. You know what I mean?
I like beer in people, especially if that people's me.
Nice. So I had the idea a couple of years ago to do like a drunken movie podcast kind of deal where it's like a bonus podcast. So it started off, the idea was going to be me and Wayne because we weren't doing Zoom yet, and I figured we live together. Hey, let's break out the microphones during the week. And then we through the magic of Zoom, we were able to have Steph involved in it too. So we have our first bonus podcast. You have to be a patron to listen to it, much like Last Call. However, this wound up being a little longer than Last Call, but
I was
very
just going to say
entertaining.
it's much more a bonus.
A little longer?
Yeah, it's more a bonus podcast than Last Call because Last Call is a bonus segment. Sometimes it hits close to 20 minutes, but it's usually like 10 or less. But yeah, this is going to be, 1 to 3 hours.
Give or take, yeah.
We talked for a while.
Well, we did, but half of the time we were on the Zoom call was after episode stuff.
That's true.
But yeah, that's going to be out soon on the Patreon, or by the time this airs, it may be out on Patreon. Who knows? But patreon.com/beerbusters is how you can find out what we think of some of our favorite movies. while we're drinking.
Starting
heavily.
with Dan's favorite movie.
I mean,
that's the one we did first.
Wasn't going to lean into that quite yet because I mean, it's a patron secret.
Well, I'm not telling them what it is. I'm just telling you if they know you well enough, they probably already know.
I feel like everyone knows my favorite movie.
Fair enough.
Anyway, we got beer to drink.
We do.
I want to drink beer. The one that we're starting off with, we had on the show with Greg Worth. And it was so damn good, we had to get more. And not only that, we had to get the breweries behind the beer here. So we are drinking a very delicious dunkel called Spin the Boot. Now, that was a collaboration between the two breweries that we have featured on. Is that correct, guys?
No, they should say, no, you're wrong, Dan.
I was going to say.
That's not right at all.
No.
Yeah.
So, actually, I want to know, where was this actually brewed? Was this brewed at Moo-Duck or Poor Man's?
Poor Man's.
And
That's
who?
actually we did it last year too. So this is 2 years of making that beer.
Oh, cool.
This is a very good beer.
Mm-hmm.
I love this beer a lot. And it's a great beer to start the show with. Whose idea was this beer to begin with? Was it like somebody brought it to somebody else, or was it sort of both of you?
I don't even remember. Mike, do you remember?
Yeah, I don't really remember either. Ryan and I bounce so many ideas off each other all the time, and like a handful and stick. And the Dunkel was one that we were both really excited about. So that one we wanted to make sure we did. But I don't know whose original idea it was, but we both love lagers, so it just made a lot of sense to kind of collaborate on this one.
And you guys do a lot of collaborating. You guys are close geographically and also just, as friends and fellow beer people. So any other collaborations you guys have done recently, or any coming up?
That's the most recent one. We're actually brewing together next week at Mike's place, making a new style we just heard about called Cold IPA.
What?
What now?
Cold?
Yeah. So it's I just read an article on
style
it.
of
and I
IPA,
said,
right?
What's that?
I said, why not another style of IPA?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
they got to
exactly.
try another flash in the pan style to get popular because brewed IPAs went away real quick.
Yeah, it's at first I was like, well, that's just like an IPL is what it sounded like, but then there's a little more to it. So they're usually like real light grain bill, and then it's usually an ale yeast fermented cold, kind of like you would do a Kolsch.
Gosh.
Oh, okay.
So it's real crisp, and then we're gonna use some cool hops in it and make it something kind of a little different. So it's just flaked rice and some base malt and a bunch of cool hops fermented cold.
So it's just a way to get the cool kids to drink a Kolsch without calling
That
it
was
a Kolsch.
like, is
with,
there?
with like flashier hops. That's
I was
pretty
gonna
much
say,
what
do you think
A dry
there's
hop
it's crispy with
They're really
citron?
hoppy cold.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't sound like there's enough distinguishing characteristics there to warrant an entire new style.
Probably not.
It's just like a dry hopped Kolsch, essentially, or a hoppy Kolsch.
Yeah, just with like American hops
Yeah.
and a little bit higher alcohol. But
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's not like
and
I
I
don't think
think
it's a
what
new
got-
thing.
I think what got the two of us excited about it is it's like the crispy boy of IPA, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's going to be clear. It's going to be real light bodied, but yet it's still going to have some nice bitterness from the hops and stuff. So it's like lager meets IPA, but it's more towards the crisp and just refreshing side of IPA, not necessarily. It's like the anti-hazy, I guess,
All right.
which is what I like.
Yeah, but by still calling it an IPA, it's going to attract most
It's going
beer
to drink
drinkers.
like an IPA. It's just going to be light and crisp.
It's like the new gateway beer, but instead of like the gateway beer for the macro beer drinkers to get them to drink craft, it's
to
the
get the
gateway
IPA
beer for the IPA drinkers to try to get them to drink craft lagers.
Yeah.
It is. It does seem like it's becoming like there's a distinction between IPAs and beer, like it's its own thing because there's so many subgenres now of IPAs.
Yeah.
And I mean, that sounds cool, and I'd be excited to try it. And
It
sounds
does sound
interesting.
really good.
I just like, why do we have to call everything an IPA? You
I
know,
know.
Have
Well,
you
I have
just
a goal. We should name it on this podcast because
Oh,
we don't have
boy.
a name yet.
the beer. Okay,
we're good at that.
That'll save all the work for all of us.
I kind of think maybe that's the only reason some people come on our podcast.
Yeah, we should start charging royalties.
a recording of beer names.
I mean, as long as they give us beer, we'll give them whatever they want. What hops are you putting in the beer? Did you decide yet?
Mike did. I don't remember. What
Yeah,
are
we're
we
doing,
putting in there, Mike?
Citra, of course. So it's Citra, Azaka, and we're going to throw a little twist in and add some Hellertau Blanc.
That sounds lovely. I would drink it. Are you going to can it?
I don't.
We
Maybe
haven't
Mike
really
might a little
discussed
bit,
that
right?
I don't know who answered my question or if my
I'm
question
sorry.
was
Go
answered.
ahead, Mike.
I don't know. We haven't really discussed that yet. I mean, it's a little harder to can some things here at Moo-Duck than it would be if we brewed up at Poor Man's. I mean, we're canning a little bit now, but it's very labor intensive and and pretty much manually canning single can at a time.
Whoa.
So it's possible, but we'll see.
That actually raises an interesting question. When you guys do a collaboration like these beers, how do you decide where it's going to be brewed? Do you just bounce back and forth? Do you obviously some
pretty
logistics?
much have just been literally bouncing back and forth.
Right.
So one time at Four Man's, next time here.
So there's not usually
But
consideration.
We're starting to get a little bit of a rhythm now, where it's certain beers we're brewing here, certain beers we're brewing up there.
Right.
Yeah, like we always make big beard at Mike's place, our Belgian quad. And then the Dunkel, this time too, I'm sure we'll make that again in our place next year. So it's kind of like once a beer sticks, we stay there. But I think the reason why we do collabs together so much is we kind of have a similar mentality. And there's like some of the other breweries we do collabs with, you end up just kind of feeling like you were along for the ride and you just buy the beer at the end. We don't even charge each other for anything. We just like, you brew at our place and take half a beer. Come brew at your place, we'll take half a beer. And we know it's going to happen again next month. So it's just like a real easy thing that we can do to get out and kind of get like, it gets a little boring sometimes just brewing by yourself nonstop or just a couple people that we have around nonstop. So it's fun and makes you think a little bit more about creative ways to make new beers.
I think your two breweries are distanced enough that it also makes sense. And you both have a lot of local established customers that are very faithful to your brand. So it's nice they might not necessarily be the kind of people that would want to drive a half hour or 45 minutes to go to another brewery. So it offers them more options as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It definitely does. It's far enough apart where it just makes sense for us. Like if they were in the same town, next town over, it would kind of, I think people would even say the same thing. It's kind of why you always doing stuff with them. But for us, we're far enough away. And for me, it's a little biased too. Like I grew up in Ephrata. I have a lot of family and friends that live in Ephrata. So they're always saying, oh, you guys are so far away, where if they can go to Ryan's place and drink a collab that we made together, it makes it a lot easier for them to get the beer as well.
Well, Mike, this you mentioned since the last time we had you on the show, you are now canning, which is exciting. I love that when we came by your place last week to get beer, it was really cool to be able to pick up some beers in cans. And you have this nice little to-go cooler there in the tap room. You had this beer with two others we're going to drink tonight on the show. So I was going to ask about your canning line, but I guess it's not really a canning line.
I mean, it is. It is. When the Four Man's crew upgraded into their really nice canning line, we were able to purchase their old canning line, and literally it's just an October steamer that we're hand filling. It's out of the taps, but we do it a little better than just like growler. Like a growler, generally they just literally tap it into the can. Mm-hmm. Where we're shooting it with CO2, we're filling it really slow. We have flow control taps, so we're able to put a tube on the flow control tap and fill it really slow bottom to the top, and we've been surprised. We've tried even like the IPAs and stuff, 2-3 months out, and they still taste great. So we've been pretty happy, even though it's by hand and maybe certainly not the best system for canning, but we've been happy with the results. And for us, it's giving us just that little extra taproom business that, of course, is really helpful right now, where people are coming, they're having dinner, they're going to have some drafts, and then they're grabbing a 4-pack or 2 on the way out, which has really been helping when you're only at 50% capacity.
Are you able to keep up demand with using that system and offer enough that
there's
so always
we're super
something?
Lucky in that we offer some beer and pizzas that we cook here, and we can get a nice little volunteer crew in every 2 weeks or so, and we can up 12-15 cases, and that lasts us the 2 weeks until we get the same crew back in another 2 weeks and do the same thing. So we've been lucky in that respect, where we have some faithful customers who don't mind some free beer and pizza and come in and help out for a couple hours to get that done.
It's always cool when you can rely on your friends and customers and stuff, because we hear you hear a lot of that, like people coming around and drink beer, eat pizza, fill bottles, fill cans, whatever.
I mean, there's no way I could do it myself.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty much a one-man brewing team, so for me to fill cans and seam cans and label cans and everything, it would take me an insane amount of time. So to be able to do that, it's super helpful, and we wouldn't be able to do it without them. So we make sure we let them know that we're forever grateful. But
you should.
The same thing, we can do a collab beer and come up and use the Poor Man's Twin Monkey system and and do 30 cases in the same amount of time it takes us to do 10. It's pretty awesome too.
Yeah. I was thinking you should have, when you have like customers and friends come over to help can, have them, and I mean, it'll make the process longer, but if they sign the label of each can, like hand canned by, and then sign it, and then when you buy it, you can see who actually canned your beer.
Yeah.
Do you plan on distributing at all if, the right opportunity
We've been
would come
debating
up?
a little bit about it, so we don't want to hit like heavy distribution by doing it. But we've talked about picking maybe 2 or 3 distributors that make sense. So, maybe one here in E-Town, one a town or 2 over, and then one maybe just a little bit further out. But by doing it by hand and relying on volunteers, essentially by doing it that whole time, we got to be careful with that. And even though I said we tasted cans, 3 months out and they still tasted good, we got to be careful with how far we distribute with the methods that we're using right now. But it's certainly feasible. We have the capacity here in the brewery side of things to certainly do that and expand a little bit as far as that's concerned. So we'll see. That could definitely be a possibility.
So Ryan, any updates on expansion or distribution for you guys since we last chatted with you in August?
Yeah, I think last time we talked, we had put money down on our new brew house, I believe, but had not taken a delivery of it. So our new brew house is in. So we have a 10-barrel brew house, and we have 2 10-barrel unit tanks, and we have 3 5-barrel unit tanks. One is a dedicated lager tank. The 2 big guys, we pretty much use one for Going Broke, our flagship IPA. We make that nonstop on a loop. And then the other big tank we use for kind of a rotating whatever new beer we have out that we think is going to be really popular in cans. The other 2 5-barrel tanks are more or less draft only tanks. Sometimes we do some small canning runs from with a beer that we're returning. But Sam can speak more to our wholesale side of the business. He's our wholesale manager, but we've really been hitting that hard since COVID started. We went from basically a draft to like maybe a handful of bars before COVID to now we're draft. And Sam, what do you say, like 12 places and another 12.5 beer distributors for cans?
Yeah, I'd probably say total wholesale, we're probably around 25 places out there.
But the new brew house is definitely has made it a lot easier on us. We're still brewing a lot. It's just we don't have to double batch anymore. Before we were double batching to fill our 5-barrel tanks, and now we can fill them up no problem, and then we can do our full size batches on there. But the garage is like, we have all that crammed in a 1.5 car garage. It's pretty crazy. So there's like hardly any room to walk when we're canning. We definitely, the place is pretty much maxed out. Like our walk-ins are pretty much maxed out. We have like no room for any sort of storage. So we just start running an off-site storage garage to keep cans and empty kegs and that kind of stuff. But we're really happy with the decisions we made to kind of like do the expansion despite the current situation, because I think it's put us like probably 5 years ahead of where we wanted to be. And we kind of found this other side of the business that we thought we would not want to get into with wholesaling cans. And we actually found out we fucking love it. It's like my favorite part of the business. To see like a van full of cans leave every week is super satisfying. Sam's been killing it on sales. He's got like great reputation with all of our beer distributors. So, and it's really cool to see people that haven't even been to our brewery before who found out about us from a beer distributor that's like sometimes only like 2 miles away. And it's like, you're 2 miles from the tap room. You never even heard of us, but you picked up cans. So it's cool. At least people found out about us that way.
Yeah, I don't think we really appreciate, like, as people who drink and make craft beer, that a lot of like more casual beer drinkers, even if they drink craft, there's a lot that don't go to breweries. They do just go to, distributors or bottle shops or something. But so having it on the shelf makes a difference.
Yeah, we have a couple accounts where they tell me that they'll have customers come pick up 4-packs from their bar, restaurant, or wherever it is, but they've never stepped foot into our brewery once.
Yeah.
But they buy our 4-packs all the time from there. It's crazy.
Now, do you guys distribute anything that you can, or do you just stick with a certain collection of beers?
We pretty much distribute anything. Occasionally we'll do really small runs that we keep just for tap room. Mm-hmm. But we've always had this mentality, and people always ask us, like, what's your guys' business plan? It's like, well, we keep it pretty stupid simple. If you got a check, we'll sell you beer. That's the business plan. So if somebody calls and says, like, hey, I saw that you guys have this new beer you guys did cases of, if we have the additional, we give it to them, we're going to sell it. So we never like limit ourselves to saying we only do this in-house sort of thing. It's pretty much if someone wants something, we'll wholesale it. So pretty much most of our beers gets wholesaled a little bit. The bigger batches, like we try to have going broke on the shelf at pretty much every one of our wholesale accounts all the time. And then we try to keep our other core beers, Oats and Hose. Hopefully when we can get raspberry puree again, very funny. We've been having issues with that. We haven't had that beer in a while. And crispy, we usually try to have all the time.
Is raspberry puree hard to get? Like, I never would have thought about that being an obstacle you'd have to face.
It's not normally. Like, I remember last year through the winter, I didn't have any issue. This year, pretty much when we got to maybe like 4 months ago, it's just been not available. And you got to think, like, when they run out, they don't get it again until another crop season.
Yeah, you can't just grow raspberries in the winter.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
so we're pretty much
true.
just waiting it out. There's one company that we can get it from. So I actually got some from another brewery order for me this week. So we'll have another batch of it coming soon. Just for more normal vendors, we haven't been able to get it.
I also think, Ryan, you got to think about how popular these fruited sours and stuff are becoming
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
So as they become more and more popular, the market for raspberry puree is probably, significantly higher now than it would have been, even a year ago.
Well, hypothetically speaking, couldn't you just go to Giant and clear out the raspberries, then move on to Weiss and clear out the raspberries?
That's
just
not
puree
That
it
would
on
be
your
really
own?
freaking expensive.
That would be super
Yeah,
expensive.
that'd be crazy expensive.
Depending on how many you need.
Well, you need
We're
a
talking
lot.
like
You need a lot that you need to buy at
puree,
wholesale.
We're talking like for a bigger batch that we're trying to do would be 6 boxes, so 180 pounds of puree.
Oh, that's nothing.
Puree. Could you imagine how many
like-
pounds of just raspberries would that be?
I mean, once you macerate the thing, that's a lot of raspberries. I don't even think we could fit that in our van.
A couple of years ago when we did,
And I mean, puree in the brew house is a hell of a lot easier to use than actual fruit is as well.
Oh yeah,
That's right,
I pushed that off as long as possible. We were staying on the fresh fruit route for really long, and then we finally used puree. And it's like, why have we been so hard against using this? It tastes exactly the same. Like when we drew a principle like line in the sand for no fucking reason except for to make our lives harder.
If it's harder to make, it has to be better, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
You could take a page out of LaCroix's book and just like yell raspberry at the tank and hope it just picks up the flavor that way.
Is that how they do that?
I think
Good
so.
idea.
Is this a thing?
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, that's how I felt about LaCroix's for a while. It's like it tastes like somebody whispered lemon into my ear and now I taste it. So like if you all collectively at the same just yell raspberry over and over again in a tank, like it might pick up some of the flavor. It's power of suggestion.
People have done weirder things to beer.
That's true.
I mean, if you can't find a raspberry puree, Ryan, it might be worth a try at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just give it a shot. I'll even come out and I'll help you yell.
Right.
Or if you play,
Well, once
just play what that Prince Raspberry Beret.
Yeah, I was
Raspberry
kind of
Sounds
working my
like
way to that.
raspberry puree. So,
Raspberry puree.
Oh, man.
I like it.
oh boy. Speaking of beer, hey, that's a segue that always works on this podcast. Dan and I cracked open another beer we've been sipping on. I went to a poor man's this time. This is the Black IPA Black Market.
All right, I will open that too.
Which
I like the artwork. I really like the artwork. If you haven't seen it, anybody listen to this. It's basically it's a hop in a trench coat, like he's on the black market selling things, but it's all like a la Grand Theft Auto. And I've been playing a lot of Grand Theft Auto lately.
I know we've black IPAs as a style have come up on the show a couple of times recently. And I've been thinking recently, it's been a while since I had one, so I'm glad that we got this.
Me too.
Yeah, they're becoming cool again. What is that about? How did these become cool again?
It's history repeating itself.
Yeah, I think just nobody makes them anymore. So when you see one, it's cool again.
Yeah.
But now everyone's making them. So does that mean they're going to be not cool again?
Well, that's why cold IPAs are a thing.
That's right.
Well, and I
Cold
think
black IPA. It's the next
that's
bomb.
the next thing.
That'll be next. Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, as breweries, you know what beers are in demand, and that's usually IPAs, and it's usually a certain style, usually hazy IPAs, but IPAs in general. And like it is the same thing, like the cold IPA. Why are you calling it an IPA? Because it sells. And so you're looking for things that you can call an IPA, and I think a lot of breweries are rediscovering the style just because it's a kind of IPA, so people will order it.
It's a kind of IPA, so people will.
I'm sure they're the same way. Like we've always had demand.
Wait, that should be. Hold on, that should be the name of the beer. It's a kind of IPA, so people will order it.
Basically.
Sorry, Mike.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Moo-Duck's a little bit different, but I think Poor Man's is probably in the same case. Like, we've always had demand for black IPA. We've done one every year since we've been open, and it's always sold really well. And, you know, people say, you know, when we have it on that they can't find black IPA anymore. You know, so we've always made one. It's always sold well for us. I'm pretty sure, you know.
Yeah.
I know it's Sam. I think it's one of your favorite beers.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. I have a sixtel here at home, and we actually had a customer today buy a sixtel of it, a 4-pack, and I think a growler fill too, Ryan?
Yeah, I like, as Emily came back and explained this to me, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. She bought a sixtel, 2 growlers, 2 crowlers, and 2 4-packs. So she like bought every kind of available way.
Why would just give them a whole keg, some empty cans, and a couple empty growlers, and be like, here, do it yourself.
Well, we set our pricing to encourage people to buy the 4-packs first, right? Because like obviously they have a little bit of a shelf life, so we want them to see them go because they cost more money for us too. So like we're encouraging people to buy them. So a 4-pack is cheaper than a growler. So it's like, why would you buy? Every time someone buys a growler, I'm like, why the fuck would you buy a growler? Stop it. The same beer. Get a 4-pack.
Stop it. Same beer.
Yeah, and you don't have to drink it in like
fresh out of that tap.
Yeah, but you have to drink the growler within the next like 5 days. The cans you can let breathe a little more.
That's true. The cans you can spread out over time a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually why I stopped getting growler fills. I mean, one, I don't want to carry a growler around, and I just don't want to have
Ryan's responsible for so many people just, you know, a whole portion of the industry going under.
Well,
no more growlers.
I'm not saying don't get growler fills. I'm saying if the same beer is available in a 4-pack, buy the goddamn 4-pack.
Yeah, you're doing yourself a favor and the brewery.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and honestly, everyone knows that once you crack open a growler, if you don't drink it that night, the beer does not taste good the next day.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to drink 64 ounces of beer in one sitting, don't get a growler.
Yep. We have this one older guy. His name's Dick. He comes in every Saturday. So he comes in and gets a growler full of Grown Broke every single Saturday. If we run out, he comes in and just complains that we're out and then just leaves and doesn't buy anything. So
God forbid other people like the same beer you like.
Yeah, right. If we have cans of Going Broke, he will sometimes get them only if we're out of draft or growler fills. So like I've tried to talk to him before about, and the best part of this is he doesn't drink the growler all in one night. He drinks it over 4 days, one pint a day over 4 days. And he's like, by day 4, it doesn't taste quite the same. I'm like, well, no shit, Dick. You open the thing up 3 times, and it's full of oxygen now. So I try to explain to him, you should just get the 4-pack. He still, every week, comes in and gets a growler fill and drinks over 4 days. So
he's never going to listen.
You're just not going to convince to do something.
No.
Well, maybe he's concerned about the waste. I mean, if you're getting growler, there's literally no waste. You just have just the water to rinse and clean the growler. Mm-hmm. Where if you buy a 4-pack, I mean, there is 4 cans that need to be recycled. I mean, they are recyclable, but there is still some waste involved.
That's true. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. So you got a point there. I gotcha.
So kudos to Dick. He's being environmentally
I don't know.
friendly.
Granted, I've never met the guy, but from your description of him, I don't think he's going to be the most environmentally conscious of your customers.
He drives like an 85 Dodge Dakota. I don't think he's too concerned with the environment.
That gets like 6 miles to the gallon if you're lucky. He doesn't care.
And he gets 3 days to the growler.
Yeah. Back to where I digressed. The black IPA we originally brewed for Sam. And we didn't actually expect it to sell that well. I think we've been brewing this is the 3rd winter that we made it.
This is the 3rd run.
Yeah. So originally it sold really well. We brewed it twice, I think the first year, and then once last year, and then this year we like wanted to really go and do a bigger batch of it and get nice can labels and everything. So all of our can labels are still done by Bart at Hopheads Collusion Media. He's so great because we can just say, like, I think I gave him 2 options. It's like, hey, we're thinking either a hop guy with a trench coat that he's like opening up or a briefcase. And he's like, no, the briefcase is stupid. We're doing the trench coat idea. That's way better. So all that little bit of direction, and he comes up with a really cool label. And this was, I think, only the third or fourth beer we brewed. Actually, the third beer we brewed on our full scale on our new brew house.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a delicious beer.
It's very good.
I'm okay with this style being back again.
Yeah, I like black IPAs.
I do too. And then when they weren't cool, I was like, man, they're good though.
But it's good.
What hops are in this?
It is Simcoe and Cascade.
They go really nicely with the malts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. So I found, and Simcoe is like one of my favorite hops. I found that if you use Simcoe in the boil, it gives you kind of this like really like subtle sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it goes really nice, and we have a lot of Simcoe in the boil of this thing. It goes really nice with kind of the dark malts.
And it has a pillowy finish. I don't know. For some reason, that's the adjective I'm coming up with. But sometimes a black IPA has a really sharp finish, which I don't mind. I appreciate a really astringent beer, but this, you get the sharpness of the hops and the malts, but there is this like soft finish to it. And maybe I'm perceiving it, the subtle sweetness perhaps that you're talking about. Maybe that's how I'm perceiving it, but
yeah,
it's
we
nice.
We use midnight wheat for the color, so that gives you some body too.
Yeah.
And then this actually has a pretty big addition of oats in it also. So I think that kind of gives you a little bit more. Well, we wanted to kind of like basically blend the two styles of a stout and an IPA together. So we dropped all the chocolate malt, that kind of stuff, just kept the midnight wheat. And then we still added our oats to the same effect that we do like our oatmeal stout. So it's got quite a bit of oats in it for body.
That could also be the mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Could be
makes it
giving me
rich.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the classic pissiness of the Simcoe, which is what I love it for, goes well with the roastier end of the malts as well.
Yeah.
Like a kind of that sort of like dankness with the sharpness of the malts. Plays
Sharp
really
and
well.
dank.
Sharp and
So
dank.
we forgot to mention to you guys, we had like kind of an inside thing that we were doing. We got a 30 pack of hams, and the goal was between me, Mike, and Sam, who could finish their 10 first on this podcast.
Oh my
God.
I
no.
wasn't planning on drinking anything, but now I got a black market like 2 sips in. I feel like all the hams just hit me at once.
Oh my God.
How many hams do you guys have?
I'm on my 5th.
Yeah, I'm done with
What?
my 5th. I have my 6th
Same.
open.
Jesus.
We started early. We started while we were
Let's
cleaning.
not say, are we
the
talking
house
since the podcast started? Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been recording for
today.
like a half hour.
We started back when we were cleaning at the end of the day at the brewery.
Hold on. How many have you had, Sam?
I'm on 5. I've had
Wait,
3.
you're on 5 and Ryan's on 5. Holy shit.
I'm on my third
Posting
one
this.
since we started.
Well, 5 hams. I've had a Pilsner, a Quell, and now Black Market.
Oh,
And then I had
he's got me beat.
Breakage of Audits, which is our plum sour that's on right now, because I was
God.
dumb and came after work and stayed at the brewery for 3 hours. So
Sam and I have little kids. We don't get to drink very often for no reason.
For no reason.
So we're kind of trying to take advantage of this tonight. We already decided beforehand we're going to go hams on this. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Oh boy.
I was at a golf scramble last summer, I think, and hams was like the only beer they had plenty of. So we had a good amount of those. Gets the job done. It's light, it's tasty, and when it's like 90 degrees outside, it hits the right spot.
What's the alcohol content on a hams there? Is it like in a 4 or 5?
4.7?
yeah,
4.7.
4.7. All right. Makes sense. All right.
It was
So
like
then,
$16 for a 30 pack.
yeah,
it's
it's
like,
one of those.
how do you even make that for that cheap?
Right, yeah.
Higher than
Yeah.
I thought it would be even.
I mean, it's mostly water.
I was gonna say, yeah. There's not much
That's
in
true.
it.
I'm updating our social media followers on the hams count.
Okay, good move.
well, now we're into our 6th.
Ham
so.
count update. And I'm sorry, I was writing something down. Are we all keeping pace, Sam? Are you at 6 as well?
I'm at 5.
5.
Oh, you're at 5.
Oh,
Okay.
Sam.
Mike's going to win, but then the joke's on him because he's at my house. Someone's going to have to pick his drunk ass up. He's not staying there.
That's what Uber's for.
My girlfriend
That's
just
true.
texted me and said, "Let me know if you need me to drive you home."
Oh, yeah, just tell her now.
Just be
Absolutely.
like, yeah, yes.
Yeah. Pretty much, that's a given.
Well, dare I ask, Mike Brubaker, how many have you had? I know you're not drinking hams, but like how many beers in general?
I had 2 before we started tonight. Now I'm my second since we've been on. So I'm on number 4.
All right, man, we got to catch up. What the hell?
But
I
in
know.
my defense, my first one was Moo-Duck Love, which is about a 10% Belgian beer. So I got to be warmed up a little bit.
Well, this is the guy who sent us a crowler of King Slava.
We have to have Slava. It's tradition.
I know.
I didn't.
That's a lot of Slava.
I didn't realize that was in the crowler.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Mike doesn't mess around.
Apparently not.
Oh, but
that was not in the that was not on the canning line this week, so you had to get the whole full size crowler. So
We got the king can.
Right?
King can, yes.
You're sharing it. It'll be all right.
So we're finished the Black IPA. I do want to talk about the beer for Mom and the beer for Dad. So I think we should do those next, and we should start with Dad because it's a lager.
Yeah, so I'm drinking beer for Dad right now.
Nice.
Perfect.
Beer for Dad is kind of a house lager that we created about a year ago now.
Sorry.
And so the backstory, I think we've covered this a little bit with you guys already before, but all of our bartenders and employees here at Moo-Duck call myself and Kristen Mom and Dad. So me being the lager lover and her being the IPA lover, I created a lager for myself and an IPA for her. So we don't brew to style that well. So like when we entered that in competition, at the farm show, and it did well, of course. But to say what style it is, it's hard to say. We entered it as a Vienna lager. It's not really a Vienna lager, honestly. It's probably a more flavorful version of an American lager, but not quite a Vienna. But just super crisp, clean. We call it house lager. And since we launched this, it's become one of our top sellers. In the can fridge that Steph had talked about earlier, it actually is the number 1 seller of cans that we have. And then on the draft, it's actually number 3 of everything. So it's done extremely well for us. Extremely easy drinking, well balanced.
So how does it
Vienna-ish lager?
How does it stack up against Mom's IPA though? Where's that in the rankings?
So Mom IPA is also in the can fridge, and they're similar, but Dad is slightly ahead in the can sales than what Mom is. And then on draft, Mom is just behind it at number 4 on our list. So they both do extremely well since we released them. One of the things that allowed us to do a year-round lager, which is something I've always wanted to do, but we didn't always have the best fermentation control as far as temperatures are concerned. But a little over a year ago, we bought some glycol control tanks, which allowed us to make a year-round lager. And what that beer did was it replaced our Irish Red. Our Irish Red was the beer that we always had on tap that, somebody came in and said they drink Yingling or they want something, just kind of an intro kind of beer. We always kind of leaning towards that. So this has replaced the Irish Red as that kind of beer, but it's probably tripling the sales of what the Irish Red ever did as far as our sales. So
yeah,
that was one of the better decisions we made, is to switch to the lager rather than the Irish Red. But, Mom's a double IPA, and it still sells, extremely well.
Yeah.
For the people that's their jam. And sometimes I find myself cheating and drinking the beer for Mom as much as I do the lager. So.
We won't tell, although we will, because this is a publicly distributed
Well, no, that's
podcast.
the thing. We won't tell.
Yeah,
He told. We won't.
It's interesting you brought up Yingling, because when I first tasted this, what I thought was this is like Yingling lager, but like more flavorful and a little better.
Right.
And which is cool, because like I grew up, I say, like of mostly legal drinking age, drinking lager before I got into craft beer, which in Pennsylvania lager means Yingling, although not as much now as it used to. But yeah,
that's one of the things I think that helps us. Of course, like we can release a beer like this that kind of has a vibe of Yingling and sell a lot of it. Where I think, I don't know, depending on where you live, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Mm-hmm. We hear all the people talking about lager is going to be the next kind of thing that a lot of people are leaning towards, and certainly I think we're turning the corner in that respect. But I don't think we're going to be there anytime soon. But I think in this area, certainly where we are, where Foreman's are, where you guys are all from, I think lager has a legitimate chance to not only survive, but I think thrive as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, down here in Philly, there's I can't sing the praises of the lagers from Love City and from Human Robot enough. I mean, they're local.
Workhorse.
You can get them delivered most of the places near. Workhorse too. Somebody sent me 3-4 packs of Workhorse the other day, and I have no idea who it was. But like, these are solid lagers that I think, because of where we are and because of the heritage this area has, the greater area, that, yeah, it does have a fighting chance here, to the point where these breweries are making their own names off of their lagers. Like, they're doing well by forcing
Sam
lagers on the
disappeared.
masses. Uh-oh. He got tired of us talking
Sorry, I
about lagers.
talked over you there. That was rude.
There's another flavor in this that I cannot put my finger on, but I fucking love it. It's like, it's a very familiar flavor in the very, very, very back end, and it's just so good and so warm and fuzzy.
Yes, that's a super simple beer. That's just 2-row malt, Vienna malt, 50-50 of each, and then very lightly hopped with some Saaz and Hallertau. So super simple. I won't say it's an easy beer to make, because no lagers are easy to make, but
Right.
From the brewing's perspective, it's a pretty simple recipe, pretty simple procedures, and it's just like, you hear the term crushable a lot. It's just so crushable and easy to drink. Only 5%.
I was going to ask. I didn't get a look at that on the can.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the sweet spot there.
It is. It's delicious.
It's really nice.
incredible.
This is a really good beer. I quite enjoy it.
I like it.
Oh, there's a little bit more in the can. Look at that. You want any more?
I'm good.
All right.
Even though I said
You
I wouldn't
guys
drink
are
my face off.
pounding them tonight.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
Oh,
little bit of the
geez,
black
there-
IPA left. We didn't finish
So
the
we
can.
can kind of talk about the Dad and Mom labels a little bit too.
Ah.
The Bitmojis.
Oh, it's.
I know what.
I
Oh
didn't
my
even
God,
realize. I didn't even
Yeah,
realize.
I didn't get a look.
Yeah. So as you can tell, with Kristen not being here tonight, she's not a big fan of having her picture taken or being on camera or doing any of these kind of things. So when we developed these beers and we needed to have labels for them, I said, well, how's a way that I can have her participate, so to speak, and make a label without her necessarily being on it? So we used essentially our Bitmojis and use those as a kind of base for what the labels ended up being then.
That is cool.
I like that she's like just surrounded by butterflies and a field of flowers.
Yeah.
And you're on a boat fishing.
So we kind of went with things that both of us like. So I'm a fisherman, so I'm on a boat fishing, and then she's as both of us are a nature girl, and so she's in a meadow surrounded by butterflies and flowers, and I think there's a fairy on there too, because that's kind of one of her other kind of things as well. So
there's a fairy looking. Yeah, those are fairies. They look like butterflies if you don't look close enough, but they are.
There's
fairies.
some butterflies, and I think a fairy.
And there's
too,
fairies
maybe.
as well. Yeah. That's cool. Who does? Does Bart do your labels too?
He prints them.
Okay.
And puts it all together. So for that one, we just sent the Bitmoji to him. We said what we wanted kind of the cans to say, and he put it all together. But yeah, he does ours as well.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea. I don't want to like piss on the parade or anything, but like, is there any like kind of like legal concern about using the Bitmoji imagery in a label?
I don't know.
I mean, you'll probably be fine.
Not that I'm aware of yet, but
I don't think anyone important at Facebook is gonna like. It's unlikely they're gonna come across this beer. 'Cause
Right.
They do Bitmoji, right?
Do they?
I thought they owned Bitmoji. I could be wrong. It doesn't matter.
Well, now I'm curious.
But these are really cool labels. It's a really cool concept for the beers, because you guys are a mom and dad at the brewery, which is awesome, and you guys play that up a lot in a lot of the stuff you do. And the styles match, and they're both cool. Oh, Snapchat.
It is actually owned by Snapchat, because I know when you
Snapchat owns Bitmoji.
Shit. I didn't know.
That if you think about it, that makes sense, because it was like
yeah.
their thing.
I just never thought of it.
But yeah, these two beers are a really cool concept, and the labels just like are the bow on top.
Yeah,
really cool.
They're
so
super. Awesome.
I don't know if we're talking about beer for mom yet. We're drinking Dad, I know, but beer for mom is our. So when we decided we wanted a year-round double IPA, we decided that we were gonna kind of buck the trend a little bit and go more towards the West Coast side of things.
I just want to interrupt you for 1 second to inform our listeners that Dan and I have employed the amazing technology of a second glass so that we can drink both beers together.
Or just drink out of both cans.
Yeah, but we're sharing the can.
Yeah. I don't want his cooties.
I know we have 2 cans of pretty much every beer, but we only took out 1 to split. Anyway, Mike, continue, please. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, so Beer from Alvin, we decided we wanted a kind of new year-round double IPA. We considered some of our other beers, which are, double hazy IPAs and stuff. And we decided, there's a lot of those already out there, and it's kind of getting harder to find more of the West Coast side of beer. So we wanted to kind of buck the trend and make something unique and do a West Coast. So that beer is mostly just 2-row. There is just a little bit of Vienna malt in it to give it just a little more body. And then we hop it a lot in the kettle and dry hop with both Mosaic and Idaho 7, which happen to be 2 of my probably favorite hops.
I love Mosaic. I think it's still my favorite. It's like my OG favorite.
Is like 8.5%, somewhere around 80, 85 IBUs.
8.5%? Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
And to me, it kind of, even though we call it a West Coast, it still kind of hits with some of those kind of tropical flavors and aromas that you kind of expect from IPA these days. So it's not old school piney necessarily, but a little more new school meets West Coast.
It's like a West Coast, but with like the non-juicy tropical.
Right. No, I think
it was important that I said
exactly
that, Seth. Please continue.
We kind of designed it to be, so.
It's making me feel real nostalgic. Steph, I know you had something to say. I'm sorry. I've been wanting to say that for like.
No, I just have the important question of, does Kristen actually like the beer?
Yeah, she loves that beer. That's pretty much all she drinks when she's here.
Good.
And it's on tap at our house almost all the time as well.
Then mission accomplished.
I know.
Yeah, and I'll say that for a long time I was on top of IPAs, and that would be all I would.
I will say that beer actually does open up a little bit as it warms as well, which is nice.
Mike, other Mike?
Mike too.
Other Mike. Yeah, so I was a long time drinker of IPAs, and I kind of burned myself out on them. So I drink IPAs now just to say that I drink IPAs. But I had a beer for Mom a couple of weeks ago, and I was actually pleasantly surprised at how nice it was. And it was in a can that hadn't been refrigerated for a while. And so, like you said, as it warms up, it opens up. And I really agree with that. It was quite delicious.
There used to be a time where I kind of like you, Mike. I drank IPAs and I gravitated towards them. I've been all over the fucking place with styles that I would gravitate towards. This, like I said earlier, makes me feel nostalgic for like when I really enjoyed this kind of beer as like my go-to. I remember there was the day that we recorded at Conshohocken years and years ago. All I was craving was a beer like this, just like a moderately high IBU, decent ABV on it. Full body, really nice hoppy double IPA. This just, it's taking me back, and I love it.
It's scratching that itch that you've had since 2014 when we recorded.
I guess.
That was a long time ago.
I mean, I also can't tell you the last time that I actually wanted to drink a double IPA, but man, is this friggin' good.
Yeah. And that's why I said I find myself drinking that beer a lot now.
Yeah.
And it hits exactly what you're saying. It hits kind of the old school feel of it with just a little bit of newer school hops, which I kind of like the blend of the two kind of together.
Oh, yeah. It's delicious. Excuse me.
Do we need to open a poor man's beer now?
I mean...
Yeah, I was thinking we probably should, but I'm not going to finish these two anytime soon.
Do we need more glasses?
We have the technology, Dan. We have lots of glasses.
We have lots of tasting glasses. I'll be right back.
Yeah, there's more whiskey ones there, isn't there?
Yeah.
It has the benefit of not having to leave your seat.
True, and it's also not like I'm going to want whiskey tonight, so we're good.
All right.
Although you never know. Yeah, what are we drinking from Poor Man's? What do we got?
Should we open the IPA? I mean, we're drinking IPA.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
This is like, it's like would you consider this your like the flagship beer of Poor Man's, I guess?
Yeah, it's our number one draft. It's our number one 4-pack. Any kind of sales wise, it's our top selling beer and we opened day one with that, and we pretty much made it nonstop since then. We've probably brewed that beer, if I had to guess, and probably like 75 times now.
Wow.
In like 2.5 years.
And for
Yeah,
our
so this
listeners,
one-
we're drinking Going Broke IPA, which we've probably consumed with you every time you've been on the show.
I think it's
This might be the tradition beer for Poor Man's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
So I'm gonna
Yeah, so
step
it's
out
a-
while you guys are drinking that, and we have a guest sit in as I go to the bathroom. So enjoy.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
That was a very formal announcement.
It was a very formal
Who's the
announcement.
guest?
Hey, everyone.
Kristen, you grew a beard.
Hi. Yeah, I didn't know I was sitting in for Mike. I just came into Zoom bombing.
Yeah, you were voluntold.
Well, this is what happens. Well, what's your name?
Pretty good. This is Imperial Pat.
Oh, Imperial
That's
Pat.
right.
I didn't
Hi.
recognize you. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Hi,
No,
Imperial
it's the
Pat.
Quarantine,
The
quarantine.
beard.
He was too focused on saying something about Kristen growing a beard, and he
Yeah,
just
and
like
I didn't
forgot.
Even, I didn't even recognize you.
Kristen's hot with a beard.
Jesus.
I bet I could see that. So yeah, longtime listeners probably remember you've been on the show 2 or 3 times, I think.
Yeah, about 2 times.
Two different Moo-Duck or festivals, all kinds of stuff. So you're just like big Moo-Duck brand ambassador / collaborator / you brew really high alcohol beers.
Yeah, I pour beer here now too.
Oh, okay,
All
cool.
right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, I didn't want to steal the thunder. We were talking about Poor Man's Going Broke
good.
IPA.
I was just drinking a spin. This is David.
I work here as well.
Wait, is he the one that had the ill COVID face mask on last week?
Yes.
Your face mask is the best face mask ever. I want it.
If you go to Schitt's Creek, their website,
Yeah,
you can buy ill COVID masks.
Oh, that's amazing.
we're totally doing it.
COVID.
That's great.
Anybody pouring
Ill
beer?
COVID.
Good to see everybody.
Good to see you. Goodbye, Imperial Pat.
Nice to meet you. I'll let my dad take over.
Oh, that was the best. I'm totally buying one of those face masks. Okay, back to Going Broke.
Sorry.
Sorry, Ryan.
No, you're good.
I have to say, I did not expect the shenanigans to come from the E-Town side of this recording.
true.
I kind of assumed it would come from the Ephrata side of the recording.
There's so many hams on my bar at home right now. I can't even barely see the laptop. It's unbelievable.
Wait, do we need a count? Do we need an update?
Oh yeah, what's the
I'll give
ham
you a
update?
picture of the bar, and then
Oh,
I'll
here we
send
go.
it to you through Instagram. It looks ridiculous.
What are you at, Sam?
I'm almost done with 6.
Almost on with 6. All right.
Where are you at, Mike?
6.
6?
I'm halfway through 7.
Oh, jeez.
Damn.
Plus
Ryan?
the Going Broke that I've been mixing with the hams.
Oh, dear.
How does that taste?
Or I'm sorry, not the Going Broke, the Black Market that I'm mixing with the ham. It basically tastes like Black Market.
Okay, yeah, I figured that'd be dominant.
Yeah, we're doing some black and tans here, so I don't really know what I'm at because I just keep adding hams to my black market.
So that I think
But I
that's
think I'm somewhere around 6.
all right. I think a good beer name, whether for the cold IPA or something else, is halfway through 7.
But I think you can only name it that if it comes in at like 7.5%.
Okay.
True.
We can adjust that yet.
But yeah, sorry. So back to Going Broke. Yeah, that's been our number one seller since basically we opened. It's a Citra Mosaic IPA. It has a little bit of Munich in it. It's definitely on the West Coast side of IPAs. It's not New England or anything like that. Big bombshell for Poor Man's that we can kind of drop. We've actually decided to stop making New England IPA. We found that our
Okay.
American IPAs sell better, are better reviewed. Our customers kind of want new ones of those more than they want New Englands anyway. And we kind of fucking suck at making New England IPA. We can just kind of admit it. Like it's not a thing that I want to be good at, and it's not a thing that Sam and I have found ourselves passionate about. So like we've kind of faked ourselves into like being like wanting to make more of them. But at the end of the day, if our other IPAs that we're passionate about sell better and we're better at making them, then like we just kind of had this meeting like, why the fuck are we doing this? So we just decided we're going to push Going Broke. That's going to be the beer that we've pushed since day one. And then we have a bunch of new West Coast IPAs and American IPAs coming out. I really fucking digressed there. I know. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But back to back to going broke. So it's a little bit of oats, a little bit of Munich. It's kind of softer on the mouthfeel. It's not super bitter. Kind of dangerous at 7% alcohol. That's for sure.
I forgot it was that high.
It's 2 beers in a row now. I'm taking big hearty sips, and you're like, yeah, it's 7-8%.
I really respect what you just said, though, because 2 things that you said that I really like. Number one, you're focusing on what your consumer wants to drink. And just because the industry dictates that everyone wants to drink this does not mean that that's what your customer is. So I really respect that you're thinking about what your customer wants to drink. And the fact that you're like, I don't really like making it. I'm not good at making it. I'm not going to make it.
I think I mean, as a brewer, I think people can tell, like, there's styles that you're not crazy about making, you're not giving it, not saying you're not giving your best effort to make something else, but you're not going to be as like focused about making something else that if you're making something that you're really, passionate about.
Yeah. I don't want to say like we never phoned it in making them. Like we took them serious, but like we have a new West Coast IPA that we've been really focusing on dialing in. And this is kind of like backwards how craft beer works, because we're not normally cost centered. Normally we're trying to make a beer the best we can make it no matter what the cost is. And that's kind of what going broke is. We're selling that at a pretty reasonable price at $15 a 4-pack in the tap room. But we really wanted a beer that you could go pick up a case of and not feel like you're going broke. So that's where we came up with this new beer that we're coming out with in the next couple of months called Notorious. Sam and I are big 90s and early 2000s hip hop fans. So it's basically a nod to Biggie, my favorite rapper. And we're taking it back to Cali with the West Coast IPA. So we like legitimately went out and found ingredients. Like we're doing Centennial, Bravo, Palo, and Cascade in this beer. I think it's going to be phenomenal, and we were able to do it at a price point where we can sell you a 4-pack at $12 or $13, depending on what our yield is going to be when we start brewing it.
Wow, yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, we didn't want to cut any corners, but we wanted to make a beer where you could go. Like no one's ever picking up a case of 6-ounce cans, but we wanted you to feel like you could buy one and not break the bank, because we're all about like getting you enough beer. Our prices are already reasonable. We wanted to make sure that you got enough of it that you didn't feel like you had to run back out a couple of days later. Because let's face it, craft beer is expensive, and to try to get people into it, and also if they're into hoppy beer, it's a difficult thing to try to get someone to fully convert to buying enough beer to sustain them and not have to go back out and pick up a 30-pack of hams and drink it with 3 guys in one night.
I don't know what that's like.
Yeah. So going broke is kind of like going to be our premier flagship IPA with more expensive hops. And then we think we're going to be able to develop this lower level, cheaper IPA that's equal in amount of flavor, but you can pick up for $13. Maybe it's not the sexy hop names that people want, but it's going to be delicious. That's going to be our next big push over the next couple of months.
Ryan, what do you anticipate that like ABV is going to be?
We got so Bart's currently working on the label. We said 6.6 is what we're shooting for no particular.
You couldn't have fudged another decimal point and made it 666.
Well, there's that. My suggestion was going to be try to get it at 8.16, so it's Notorious BIG.
816. Okay.
Oh my!
That's genius.
That's a good idea.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Maybe the double version.
Remember last time I also gave you the idea for jalapeno? Yeah, just remember that.
Oh yeah, jalapeno. That was a good one too.
Did you guys ever do that?
No.
Oh, come the fuck on.
The problem is that these guys don't like spicy beers. So
the problem is that we drank too much in the last podcast. I don't even remember that.
I didn't remember it until just now when Dan brought it up.
Listen, you might not be able to get raspberry puree, but I'm sure you could probably get jalapeno puree.
Jalapeno puree? Is that a thing?
Is it a thing? I don't know. I feel like if anybody here would know, Steph, it's you. Is that a thing?
Well, I also feel like another benefit, and I don't know the cost comparison between raspberries and jalapenos.
Isn't it called salsa?
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
I legitimately almost did a spit take.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Am I wrong?
I mean, yeah, no, that's a very good point. That's a very good point.
We almost had blackened hams all over our bar.
Blackened hams.
Blackened
the
hams.
best.
Oh, that's good.
Damn it! I wish I had a hams now.
I know, right?
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say, like,
Hold on. If you're stealing that for your material, I better get credit.
What?
I see you writing it in your notebook.
I've been writing a lot of things in my notebook.
what I just wrote
This
down.
isn't the comedy notebook.
What I just wrote down was blackened hams.
Actually, if anything,
That
I
should
think
be this title.
if anything, I think isn't it called salsa might be the episode title.
Isn't it called sauce? That's good. I didn't write that down.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
No, I was going to say the same amount of jalapenos will go a lot further in the beer than that amount of raspberries. Because
That's a good
jalapeno is a
point.
lot stronger than raspberry.
Yeah.
I've made a beer with raspberries and jalapenos, and it was
Yes.
really good, by the way.
Yes, you're Brew de Derision.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You named that beer
Yeah.
and designed the logo.
That's the French word for like raspberry, like when you blow a raspberry.
So there you go. Maybe that's a spicy beer that you guys could do. Like use peppers, but put some puree in it, and then it won't be as spicy.
I mean, there must be jalapeno extract at least, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like jalapeno puree better.
Yeah.
I mean, puree sounds a lot cooler. You're right.
Yeah, right. I think I have like
Delve into the
4
whole
jalapenos.
spicy beer.
What's that?
Go ahead.
It was a throwaway shitty joke. Please go ahead.
So to delve into the whole spicy beer thing, jalapenos have a very strong flavor.
Here we go again with the jalapeno.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Every fucking day. Also, can we delve into something else? Can you guys solve a problem for me?
oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
I'm
this
intrigued.
is really dumb, but would you consider counting like literally like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Would you consider that to be math? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, it's numbers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
yeah,
It's literally it's
Counting
literally
is
a
math.
it's a number series defined by n+1. It's literally a formula.
And it's taught to
the way-
children during
No,
math class.
All I want is math to be counted.
No.
To be math.
Counting is math, but math is not counting.
That's true.
Well,
It
yeah.
doesn't go the reverse direction.
Math is the relationship of quantities.
I mean, it's not like we're
Yeah.
dealing with like the Fibonacci sequence or anything.
Oh boy.
Or
So
the
this has
Liberace
been
sequence.
The Liberace,
The Liberace.
the Liberace sequence.
Oh. I
Wait,
see your sequence and I raise you sequence.
it's Fibonacci, you dumbasses.
I know. That was the joke.
We said that, and then it evolved into Liberace.
This is getting bad.
This is going on one of those BuzzFeed articles where people didn't get the joke.
Yeah.
How about that going broke, right?
Yeah. You know, I'm not
We
gonna lie.
digress.
I forget which glass it was in, but they're both good. So I'm gonna just. Keep going.
I just finished the going broke.
I think it was this one. It's a little lighter, right? Yeah.
This is mom and dad up here.
Ryan, have you ever considered a spicy going broke?
Oh, yes.
No.
Yes.
It's like asking, have you ever considered to make the best-selling thing the worst-selling thing?
Well, that's true. People don't buy them.
I mean,
Yeah, we do spicy
Except
beers
me.
occasionally. Normally we do
Spicy
is like a small batch of it.
You get
But-
spicy Spixel.
yeah. Just,
No, I think
do
it
like a
would sell-
firkin or
I
something
think it would
someday.
sell fairly well as a small batch.
Yeah.
I think when we do a spicy beer, it's a
When?
delicious spicy beer.
when you
Yeah.
do a spicy beer, I love
When,
the confidence.
yes.
Well, now Dan
Yeah.
just said something that makes me wonder.
Oh,
Do people still do firkins?
I see. That was going to be my question.
I mean, I know COVID makes it like really hard, but like just in general. Like,
yeah. When's the last?
I don't think they
time?
were very cool even before COVID. I feel like they were starting to go out of style. Thoughts?
We do them as so instead of doing it Firkin style, I just do something with a Sixtel.
No, yeah.
So instead of doing it, with the hand pump,
Oh,
and the
that goes
Firkin
in
and everything,
the kegerator
just-
tap, right?
do something with a Sixtel that whether we're adding jalapenos to a beer or whether we're adding some puree to a beer or whatever it might be. So every Friday we do it as just a Sixtel small batch of something just totally different than what we have on tap. So it's usually something we have on tap that we just doctor up
Do
for
something, yeah.
one small cake.
What about Poor Man's? You guys do any
I haven't seen
firkins?
Firkins advertised for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh.
You guys do any Firkin stuff at Poor Man's? Like I said, you don't really have people drinking beer in person as much as you used to, but
No, yeah, we're not doing any Firkins. We were trying to get back into small batch, like one-off beers, and we've been doing more and more of them as we can, but nothing like too crazy. I think the thing that's hard about Firkins is the shelf life. So if you do something kind of like off the wall and it's not super popular, once you start pouring those things, there's really only like a handful of days until that thing is basically going to be oxidized. That's kind of what's tough about it.
yeah. Yeah, it really has to be like an event thing where people are going to drink it all pretty quickly. Yeah.
So jalapeno.
Jalapeno.
You conveniently forgot, huh, Ryan? Yeah, okay.
Should we play a game while we have a bunch of beer in front of us?
Yeah, I was debating if it was too early for that, but I feel like it's probably just the right
we're
time.
about the right space here.
How about Java Peno?
Ooh.
Jello Peno.
Coffee?
Yeah,
Wait.
like coffee. Like a Mexican hot
That
chocolate
sounds
inspired
terrible.
beer. Java Peno.
Did you hear what he said?
Jalapeno
No.
Jello.
Jello Peno.
Jello Peno.
Oh, I heard that. I ignored it.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, that just sounds fucking awful.
All right, let's play a game. Cheers, Internet, and welcome to Happy Fun Time Games, the podcast trivia segment that gets hit with all the hams at once. Today, we are joined by Mike Brubaker from Moo-Duck Brewery, which is in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania, as well as Sam, Son, Mike King, and Ryan Foltz, all from Poor Man's Brewing in Ephrata. They will be facing off against my co-hosts, Dan and Steph, for a chance to win a fleeting and meaningless moment of satisfaction in Happy Fun Time Games. And our game this episode is Bad Beer Reviews. I will read snippets of beer reviews from beeradvocate.com with certain words and phrases removed, and you have to guess between two options which are the true words of the author. As always, in this game, I will say these reviews have been edited for clarity, correction, and to fit the format, and none of these opinions on these beers reflect the opinions of Beer Busters Podcast or our guests, because it's unlikely that any of you have either had or heard of any of the beers in this game. With all that preamble aside, we will begin to my left with Dan. The first beer that we will be hearing reviews for is Evil Eye Sour Green Apple. And it comes from Melanie Brewing, which is in Wisconsin. It's a 10% ABV malt liquor with artificial flavors. Yeah, it also contains certified colors, blue number 1 and yellow number 5, if you were wondering.
Was yellow number 5 the one that messes with your sperm count, or is that
That's what
4?
people say. It's in this, though. I think it was 5.
Mountain Dew, right?
Yep, exactly. So it's a sour green apple candy beer, and it comes in 40 ounces. So that's the beer being reviewed. Our reviewer for this beer had this to say. He said, "The first green beer I have ever seen. Fake and day glow. No head. It just kind of sits there and looks like, is it the stuff that made regular turtles into Teenage Mutant ones, or the liberated contents of 1,000 glow sticks?"
God, I really hope it's turtles.
You going with turtles?
Going with turtles.
Man, I love being a turtle. Steph, your turn to guess. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm totally going with turtles.
All right, we've got turtles. We've got glow sticks. Mike Brubaker?
Hey, why not? Let's go with some glow sticks.
All right, switching it up, going with the glow sticks. Sam?
Turtles.
Going with turtles. Other Mike?
I'll stick with other Mike and go with glow stick.
Oh, the Mike's combining forces for glow sticks.
Mike's of a feather.
Yes, Mike's Incorporated. Finally, Ryan, what do you think?
Turtles.
Going with the turtles. The turtles, the popular choice, also the correct one. It was the stuff that made regular turtles into Teenage Mutant ones. I will say this review comes to us from all the way back in the year 2006.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yes.
Geriatric turtles.
Yes, which is evidenced by such remarks in the review as, "This must be the apple drink Dave Chappelle mentions. It's green." Also, Dayglow went out about 10 years ago. They conclude the review with this sentiment saying, "It's not good tasting, but I applaud Melanie Brewing for at least almost getting something not wrong."
Oh, wow. Oh, that's just mean.
That is mean. Dan, Steph, Sam, and Ryan scoring a point. The Mikes, unfortunately, getting that one wrong. We're moving on to Steph and our second review for our second beer of the game. The beer being reviewed is called Artemis, and it's made by Moonlight Brewing, which is in Santa Rosa, California. Artemis is a gruit, which anyone out there who don't know, it's a style in which various herbs and spices are used in place of hops. And it's brewed, this one, with mugwort and bergamot. That's the beer we're talking about. Our reviewer begins their review with a long line of commas, saying, "This was, by far, one of, if not the, worst craft beers I have ever tasted."
Is that 5 commas?
That was 1, 2... was really only 4.
Four
commas.
5 things that were separated.
Yeah, 5 clauses or whatever you call them. They go on to say, after passing it around a table of friends, we all decided that it tasted like a combination of, is it soap, socks, and rubber bands, or ashes, cheese, and cheap cologne? Steph, you're up first.
I'm going to say the second one.
Going with the cheese, ashes, cheap cologne, Mike Brubaker, what do you think?
I'll go with the second one.
Agreeing with Steph and Sam?
Cheap cologne.
Oh, going with B as well, Mike King.
Gonna go with A.
Oh, Mike King breaking the trend, going with
Come on,
A.
Mike, we're supposed to stick together.
The mics are at war. Ryan, you're up. What do you think?
I'll go A also.
Yes.
All right. So we're getting a bit of a spread here at the end.
I'm going to go for A.
Oh, so we've got 3 A's, we've got 3 B's, and the A's have it. Dan, Mike King, and Ryan are correct. It was soap, socks, and rubber bands. They finish their review by saying, "I would not recommend this beer to anyone for purposes other than biological warfare."
Oh, shit.
Yes. Pretty
Makes
intense
sense.
sentiments there. So we're moving on to our next beer of the game, and we have come to Mike Brubaker of Moo-Duck Brewery to guess first on this one. Next up is Indian Wells Brewing's Raspberry Ale.
Oh, they got the puree.
How
Puree.
appropriate.
Puree.
Yes.
Bastards.
This beer is adapted from their Pilsner recipe. They have a Pilsner called Mojave Gold, and this is basically that with raspberries and raspberry extract added.
Right, now for us collab.
There you go.
Don't put raspberry in Pilsner.
That's what they did, sort of. So it's light pink in color, and the brewery says, "This light beer is fun to drink. You can take home a 6-pack for a fun treat for your friends and family." But our reviewer was not delighted. They said the following: "I decided to break this rarity out for the holidays. What a special occasion. This smells awful. It smells like, is it sweet pickle juice and boiled peppermint, or raspberry menthol cough syrup and steamed vegetables?"
Oh.
Moo-Duck Mike, what do you think?
We'll go with the, since it's mentioned raspberry, we'll go B.
All right, going with B, because raspberry is also in the name of the beer. Sam, what do you think?
Same thing, second one.
Also going with B, Mike Poormans.
I'll go with B.
All right. Everybody going with the raspberry cough syrup and vegetables. Ryan, what do you think?
I'll go the opposite. I'll go A.
Oh, going A, pickle juice and peppermint. Dan?
I'm going back to B because A just sounds like the worst fucking thing
Dan's
ever.
going back to B. I'm going back to Cali. Steph, last to guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure how pickle juice fits in there. I'm going to say B.
All right, everybody except Ryan said B, and everybody except Ryan is correct. Because B is the answer. Yes, it was the
Got
cough
one right.
syrup and vegetables. Our reviewer,
Awesome.
they continue on, braving past that horrible aroma, and they bring us along for the struggle.
Trouble.
Say- saying the following: "With iron resolution, I raised the glass to my lips 3 times. and 3 times I found myself putting the glass down without imbibing. This is the first time I've ever been afraid to taste a beer. When they finally did, they say it tastes almost like nothing, with well-integrated notes of cooked carrots and cabbage coalescing with raspberry cough syrup. Sounds delightful. Delightful. Quite the flavor profile there. So we have come up
Sounds
to...
like a great Pilsner.
Yeah, it does, right? So we've come up to Sam to guess first on what it is. Coming up next is our penultimate
there it is.
question of the game. This and one more is all that we have.
I feel like you need big flashing like ultimate.
Penultimate
Yes.
pen. Our next beer, our penultimate beer, in fact, is from B.O.B's Brewery in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It is their Spiced Oktoberfest Lager. Now, there's not much info out there on this particular beer, but B.O.B's does make a regular traditional Oktoberfest, and I'm pretty sure that this one was just a one-off of that with fall spices added.
So it's like a pumpkin spice
Pumpkin Oktoberfest?
Oktoberfest?
I mean,
yeah.
Who's to say? Sam, you are the first to say. And our reviewer had this to say about this beer. They say it was astoundingly sweet, had a huge smell of cloves, which may be the one recognizable flavor. The mind reels with the assault on the taste buds. It's like, is it licorice dipped in stale apple juice or pumpkin pie made with gasoline?
For the pumpkin pie.
Gonna go with the pumpkin pie. All right. Mike King.
I think if you do cloves wrong, that would come off more as the licorice side. So I'm going to go with A.
Okay. We've got a little disagreement right off the bat.
Logic
here.
does not help in this game.
Usually not.
Sorry,
Ryan?
that's my 9th hams.
That's my 9th hand. Ryan, what do you think?
I'll go B.
All right, going back to B. Dan.
I mean, he's probably pretty drunk, but I like the logic. I'm going with A.
All right. This is quite the stumper here. Everybody's just different answers. Steph, what do you think?
Damn it, I was going to say B, but it makes sense, and it's going to be wrong, but I'll say A.
All right, Steph also saying A. People are all over the place. We've got 3 A's, 2 B's. Mike, Brubaker.
Hey, let's make it even. 3 B's.
All right, 3 B's, 3 A's. Who has it? The B's have it.
Oh.
Because it was pumpkin pie made with gasoline, yes.
I should have stuck with my gut.
Yep, Mike, Sam, and Ryan. Poor man's Mike. Got that one correct. And pumpkin pie made with gasoline was just one of the many things that this person likened the flavor of the beer to. The others included taffy apples dosed with Listerine and fried apple pies with Cool Whip, which actually sounds pretty nice.
Yeah, how is that?
I don't know, but they concluded the review by saying, after a few wincing sips, I award this witch's brew the skull and crossbones. That's what they had to say about that. So we have one more beer, one more review left in the game. So we're going to add up the scores here to see who's going to go first, second, third, and so on. And would you believe it? We've got 6 people playing this game, and everybody has either 3 or 2 points. So we've got Dan, Sam, and Ryan all with 3 points in the lead. And then we have Steph and the 2 Mikes right behind with 2 points apiece. So as we know, the usual way that we conduct the final question is based upon the scores up until this point. And under normal circumstances, it is confusing enough to figure out what we need to do next. But now with 6 people with only 2 different scores, this is just very, very complicated. So we're going to take our 3 front runners and make them guess first, because that gives our people who are slightly behind a bit of an advantage. So we're going to start with Sam, and then Ryan, and then Dan, and then we're going to go to Steph, and then the 2 Mikes for our final beer of the game, which means, Sam, you are up first. Our final beer comes from Black Bottle Brewery in Fort Collins, Colorado. This beer is called Donkey Punch.
Oh, no. Oh,
I've had
no.
that one.
I will note that there's actually a lot of beers called Donkey Punch, so it might not have been this one that you had. This one is an 8.5% ABV smoked chili pale ale.
Oh.
There you go, Mike.
There we go. All right, Sam, you're up first. Our reviewer begins by relating the following. When my wife makes chili verde, I take a couple pounds of Anaheim peppers and roast them on the barbecue. When they get hot enough, they pop. This beer smells like that pop. It tastes like if you took a mouthful of blistering, smoky chilies and then, is it gargled battery acid mixed with motor oil?
Oh, jeez.
Or washed them down with a mouthful of pennies?
Pennies. Going pennies.
All right, Sam is going with the pennies. Mike King.
Even though a donkey punch is just a normal weekend for Sam.
Hold on. You're doing it wrong.
Uh-oh.
It was supposed to be Sam, Ryan, me, and then Steph and the mics.
Yep.
Oh!
I appreciate your commentary, Mike King. It's very valued at this point in the game, but unfortunately, as I said, Ryan is up to guess next.
Mike had too many hams. He's a lightweight. I'll go pennies.
I haven't had any hams, but I never know how this works. All right, Ryan is going with pennies, so Dan, you are up next.
I mean, I feel like I can't risk losing any ground to the two of them. I'm going to go pennies also.
All right. Everybody's saying pennies so far. Now, we'll start with Mike King since I gave you a false start. What do you think?
False start. I'm going to have to go anti-poor man's and go whatever the other one was. I can't remember if that was A or B.
That was A. That was the battery acid and motor
All right,
oil.
battery acid.
Battery acid and motor oil. We're going to come to Steph next. The other one was mouthful of pennies.
I told myself I was going to pick the answer I thought it was no matter what anyone else said. So this goes against my usual strategy, but I think it's pennies.
Okay. All right. We've got a lot of pennies so far. Moo-Duck, Mike, you were the last to guess. What do you think?
So it's like a lose-lose situation, right? So if I guess pennies, then I have no chance of winning, so I got to go the opposite. I got to go A, just to give myself a chance.
I mean, I agree with you that that's probably correct. You're paying a lot more attention than I am. So you're going with A. You're going with not pennies.
Why not?
Okay. All right. The pennies have it. It was pennies. So Dan, Steph, Sam, and Ryan all got that one correct. The reviewer goes on to call the mouthfeel, quote, hot and bubbly, which I just thought was a fun phrase. And they end with, it's a cloudy pale ale that has been overthrown by peppers. Is their final conclusion to that beer. So we're adding up the final scores now to see where everybody stands. And we have a bit more of a spread this time around. We have what I think is, oh my God, I'm writing on top of other things that I wrote before. Oh my God! We have a German Sparkle Party.
I like German Sparkle Party.
Tied for first place, all with 3 points. We have Sam, Ryan, and Dan. Congratulations on the German Sparkle Party, gentlemen.
Wait, wouldn't they have 4 points now?
Is that what I said? What did I say?
You said 3, but it's supposed to be 4.
Tied for first place with 4 points apiece. Enjoy your Sparkle Party, gentlemen. Dan.
I like German Sparkle Party.
Dan, Sam, and Ryan each have 4 points. They won. All 3 of them. Congratulations. There's only one person in second place, and that's Steph, so congratulations for that. Not too bad. And at the bottom of the barrel is the pair of mics. The power of the mics does not prevail. Only 2 points apiece out of 5. I'm not going to do the math on the percentage there. So, yeah, that's the end of the game. Thank you, everyone, for playing. Nobody wins anything. Nobody loses anything except bragging rights and some bruised egos. But this is the part of the podcast where we shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon. We would like to thank all of you for keeping this going and possible, beginning with Chris Mahoney.
This game sucks.
Followed by Dana.
You're proud of yourself for your choices, aren't you?
Not usually. Sean Sullivan.
The shoot, Steph.
PA Brew Review.
I love the taste that's still in my mouth.
Topher Simmons.
Oh, shit, I have pineapple.
And whether they still know it or not, Poor Man's Brewing Company.
I'm driving me lorry and I got the trots.
Jill Chivers. I am a real American. James Lambert.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a bad one. Don't ever call me that. Eric Dixon.
And he actually took out the bung and let me smell it.
Eric Dixon.
It's got a hair of Dutch.
Jen McDonald.
Peanuts.
Brian Mills.
Hell yeah.
Ron McDonald.
Those holes were filled.
And the one and only That's No Baloney, Joe Mansell.
Pay my annual fee, motherfucker.
Pay my annual fee, motherfucker. If you want to find out how you can get on this list and get other cool behind-the-scenes perks and bonus content, go to patreon.com/beerbusters to learn more. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, thank you very much. Please like, comment, subscribe. That's the Holy Trinity. Like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe's probably the important one. I'd like you to do that. Comment and then like, sort of in that order. I don't know if that's true for the algorithm, but that's the way I feel. But, Dan, what do we do now?
Comment.
Pay our tab.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
Hey, guys, we want to tell you about Audible. Audible has audiobooks available for download, and you can listen to them on the go, in the car, while you're jogging, while you're drinking beer. You can find books like Brewing Up a Business, Adventures in Beer from the founder of Dogfish Head Craft Brewery, revised and updated. Find books like that and more at audibletrial.com/beerbusters. Once again, go to audibletrial.com/beerbusters. Get a free 30-day trial of Audible and download and keep one audiobook forever.
I feel kind of sad because this was
Is that
my
your
last
last hams?
hams out of the third.
Wait, you're on number 10 already?
This would have
10th
been
ham.
number 10.
Would have been?
But
Yeah, right?
I haven't opened it yet.
Are you regretting your life decisions?
Well, I did text my girlfriend and say that, yeah, she'd have to pick me up, but
That's a good decision.
Is Mike going to freestyle rap is the question.
That is the question.
I will not freestyle rap.
It's kind of tradition, though.
Oh, jeez.
See, that's all you have to say.
No.
What do we still want to drink on episode proper? What did you open?
Nothing yet, but I want to do the alt beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you don't have that one. You have a different crowd.
No, but we have the plum.
So we're doing different ones.
I've already consumed a fuck ton of that alt beer, so that's why I sent you that one. We have Jabreak It, you bought it. What is the... I'm sure we've talked about this before. What's the deal with the J?
It's from Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, it's Impractical Jokers.
Oh. We did talk about it before, and I didn't understand that. So that's probably why I didn't remember.
Step seems so sad.
It's like, I don't get the reference. It's not fun for me. My first couple sips, this is really good. I mean, I haven't had an alt beer in a while. You don't see a lot of them. So it's really cool. What is this beer called?
It's a different color.
Dussé?
Dusty.
What is it?
We're trying to get it pronounced as Dussy. According to Emily, our general manager, and my wife, everyone's saying Ducey.
Uh-huh.
But I was looking at Dusseldorf is the town where alt beer started.
Okay.
So we're kind of looking for like a short, quick version.
I was born in Dusseldorf, and that is why they call me Wolf.
Sam's out.
That.
Yeah, we lost Sam. See, I would pronounce that as Dusseldorf, but is it Dusseldorf?
Mel Brooks says it Dusseldorf. Oh, shit, they left
We
too.
lost all of four mans.
No,
We were talking about their beer, and they just pieced
I
out.
know we were talking about their beer.
What
I
the
mean,
fuck?
I mean, I like it. I don't know why they left.
I've had that great beer. That beer is a great beer. So one of the other things like Ryan and I do when we collaborate is we always exchange growlers, and that's one I always request because it's a great beer. And like what you're saying, it's a style you don't see very often. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
when you get the chance to try one, it's delicious.
Yeah. Oh, and this is great. I mean, I feel like we should all compliment it now and then give them shit when they come back onto the Zoom.
They come back on the call, just be like, "Yeah, this is terrible."
I'm going to say it right now. This is phenomenal. And goddamn, does it hit so many right notes? Like it feels like I drank a pretzel.
Yeah, it does have a pretzel
It's
quality.
so good.
It feels like I drank a
Give me
pretzel.
give me some goddamn cheese.
Wow.
That being said, yes, it is Dusseldorf.
Yeah, well, he was saying Dussel, and he was saying
is nice.
when he said the town, he said Dusseldorf, and he was saying Dussa.
It's not Dusseldorf?
That's what he was saying.
So
I was literally asking him that right when they disappeared. So I don't know.
How dare you pronounce it wrong? Leave
You say
meeting.
Dusseldorf. I say Dusseldorf.
I've always heard Dusseldorf. Yeah.
Honestly, my only exposure to it is from the producers.
Well, Mike's the producer, so.
Yeah, Mike's the producer of this episode. And he just kicked
Oh,
Poor Man's off.
you mean the play or the
The
musical?
musical by Mel Brooks.
So on my end is getting really weird because Moo-Duck is closed now, and I think all the staff may or may not have left now.
You're just alone.
I'm sitting here in the brewery by myself.
You're
When
gonna
they left, they brought me a little bowl full of Pepperidge Farm goldfish.
Oh, nice.
So I'm just eating goldfish and drinking beer and talking to you guys now. So
That sounds like a hell of a night.
I'm all right.
The problem is you're going to walk out to the front of house and nothing's been cleaned.
I can already peek kind of through the brewery window. It looks awfully dark out there, so.
I mean, they turned the lights off, but yeah, all the taps are open. And one of them's probably actually open and pouring right now.
Yeah,
Oh, that's what drains are for.
Do you still have the kegerator behind the bar that has like the limited run? You said you were doing like the sixtels with the special shit.
Right, that goes in there.
Is that in there?
The kegerator behind the bar. That way we don't take up a whole tap line
Yeah.
to do it.
I like that system.
And right now, because we haven't discussed it much, but it's kind of hard as a brewer right now to, even though we're a year into this whole COVID thing, to get a feel with how much do you need to brew, how much do you not need to brew, and things like that.
Yeah.
So occasionally right now we'll put a whole extra tap line onto that keg if we were kind of backed up with the amount of beers that production is ahead of schedule a little bit. We'll throw it onto that tap rather than having it as just purely a small batch.
Right.
So that's what we have right now. We have a 13th tap onto that rather than just having it as a small batch tap.
I love that the kegerator is lucky number 13. Yeah. That's a good idea. I mean, I've only ever been to, besides Moo-Duck, I think one other bar that had a kegerator that they poured me a beer out of. You were there too. It was Goose Island in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, they had a kegerator there.
Yeah, they had a kegerator with one of the Bourbon County variants.
Yeah, this is their Bourbon County thing.
Yeah.
Stuff. Hold on, I'm messaging Sam and Ryan.
See what happened.
The Moo-Duck staff is officially leaving. They've come back to say goodbye.
Bye, Moo-Duck staff.
Bye, Moo-Duck staff.
Oh no, they lost internet because there's an car accident. Oh no.
No shit. Both of that? Well, I guess they're near
We
each
lost
other.
internet. There's a car accident right down from my house. I think that's the problem trying to restart.
Oh, shit.
But I think Sam lives a pretty far. Like Sam lives closer out this way to Moo-Duck than he does out by Poor Man's
Well,
way.
maybe it was.
Sam said his internet cut out. He said it's because he lives in the boonies.
Maybe it's. I mean, it might be related. I mean, it
Could be.
could be both. Well, that sucks.
Well, I hope the people in the accident are okay.
Hope everybody's okay. I wanted to ask you, Mike, earlier when you were talking about, you said about being at 50% capacity. I know, like the dining room and bar space isn't huge there. What are you allowed to be at right now?
So it's really awkward for us. I'm not sure how this ever happened, but we, throughout our whole process, never received an official fire code number.
Oh, okay.
So for us, what we've decided to do is we decided to go the whole social distance route of 6 feet apart.
Right.
So our tables are all probably even 8, even 10 feet apart. So we've decided just to spread things out really far and not necessarily not focus on the number,
Right.
but focus on can we all be spread out and safe.
Right.
And of course, there's no bar seating, which sucks, but
Yeah.
it's just how it is. So we've decided to just spread things out, make sure everybody's safe, and go that way because we don't have an official fire code number per se.
Right. Well, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, that's
You
probably
get-
the
you get
right
to-
thing to do.
No,
yeah.
you get to make up your own capacity then.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
For the most part, I mean, if we're at full capacity, our seating is probably about 70 seats.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
what we're at right now is probably pretty close to 35. It might
30,
be
yeah.
slightly more than that,
Okay. All right.
but
That's not bad, actually.
no, it's
Yeah,
not bad. And
considering the space.
And
Yeah.
for the most part, we're open Wednesday through Sunday. Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday it's not an issue ever.
Right.
I will say tonight we did turn away some people
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
come in and you don't have seats, and what are you going to do at that point? You know,
Yeah.
you can kind of hope they stick around, maybe waiting for a seat, but we have a good idea when people sit, how much time it's going to be, and you don't ever want to do a turn away business, but unfortunately at this point on Saturdays and Friday nights especially, we're turning away business at times.
That sucks. Do you have a way for though, if somebody comes and you're like, we can't seat you, sorry, we're at capacity, do you have a way that they can quickly grab like a 4-pack or something? You just be like,
yeah,
hey.
so they can always get anything to go.
Yeah.
One of our Friday night things we've started recently that's becoming quite popular is we have pizza ovens now. And so we do what we call Freaky Friday pizzas. And so generally they're a weird, interesting combination of ingredients on top of a pizza. For instance, tonight we did a Alfredo sauce with chicken and broccoli.
Ooh.
So just weird kind of interesting combinations of things that, are maybe not atypical, but not your everyday thing.
Right, yeah, something a little different. Yeah, yeah.
So they've become very popular. So Friday nights in particular have been an issue of sorts for us as far as having seating. But, that pizza can be available for takeout for anybody who calls. And
yeah.
I think we did 3 or 4 of them tonight who were just purely takeout. They came in, they got the pizza, they filled a crowler or maybe grabbed a 4-pack or something. And that certainly works fine. It's just that, we're lucky enough where our overhead is small enough, our rent is small enough, our cost for staffing the place is small enough that even at 50%, we can still do pretty well. It's not as well as we could, do a full capacity, of course.
Right, but enough to get by.
But,
yeah,
we can survive. We can break even make a little bit of money at the 50% capacity where we don't have to worry about hitting wholesale or having cans all over, at a bunch of different places. So we're lucky in that respect. But the same thing, when you have people willing to come here and spend money and they're walking out the door because there's, nowhere for them to sit, that kind of stinks as well.
Yeah, that's gotta really suck. I can't even imagine.
I might have missed this because I was so caught up on
the chicken Alfredo
pizza. Is food available to go if somebody just wants to say like?
Yeah.
Okay,
like
cool.
I said, with that pizza tonight, we did 3 or 4 where people just came in and got it to go. And food is always available to go.
I got so caught up on chicken Alfredo pizza,
just glazed over as soon as
you're-
you said
I'm not so like I know if I were ever on death row, not that I think that's ever going to actually be a possibility. Chicken Alfredo is one idea for last meals, and the other is of course fucking hot chicken. So like if you chicken Alfredo pizza is.
Yep.
A hot chicken pizza would be good.
Oh my god, yeah! I got a friend who got a pizza oven at his house, and he's gonna make me a hot chicken pizza, and I can't fucking wait.
As one of my favorite meals to make at home is Nashville hot chicken.
Oh god, here we
so
go.
Chris and I have been discussing. So we don't have fryers at Moo-Duck. So we've been discussing the ways maybe we can do a hot chicken pizza without having fryers.
Without having to fry it.
Well, I mean, the thing about the hot chicken pizza is, like, yeah, obviously you want it crispy, but it's mostly the oil and the spices that make it.
Yeah, it's the spices.
Yeah. So, like, get some chicken, maybe, like, oven bake it, and then cover it with the oil and the spices, and then just put, like, pickles and some kind of sauce on
It's
it.
funny, when we came up with this idea early during the takeout only phase, as a way to drum up a takeout business.
Right.
And it just stuck. Like, people love it. And we thought initially we came up with about 8 to 10 ideas, and we're like, hey, these are going to be our Friday pizza specials. And it's funny, as it's evolved, we haven't repeated more than once or twice, because every week we come up with like some kind of fun additional idea. So
that's cool.
It's kind of been our Friday thing.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have
You should do a pickle pizza. It's one of our favorites we do at home.
We've done a couple with pickles on them.
Ranch dressing, just mozzarella cheese,
and pickles,
dill pickles, fresh dill.
That sounds pretty good.
Actually, yeah, that does.
Oh,
That sounds
and
really good.
Drizzle of hot sauce.
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
A little hot sauce. Nice.
Yep, get a little bit of
Well, it's like
kick.
the
So
popcorn
good.
thing you do. It's like a Texas or a Southern thing where they dip popcorn in pickle juice and a little hot sauce.
Yeah. So
Welcome back, poor man's. This is now Pizza Busters.
Yeah, we started.
I'm getting the
last
vibe
week
that
we did a kind of a spin on that. So we did a chipotle aioli as sauce. We did mozzarella cheese. Then we did spicy chicken patties and dill pickles.
Oh,
nice.
I want it.
Just a little bit of lettuce on top, just to kind of finish it off.
cool.
So it's like a spicy chicken sandwich.
Good
but
damn
via
space.
pizza.
I want it. I'll tell you what. I'm waiting on blood work results. Depending on how it comes back, I'll call you next week.
Right?
Oh God.
So that's kind of one of our things that we've kind of adjusted with COVID is having these kind of interesting pizza combinations every Friday night.
That's cool. That's a good idea. I like that. That's cool. So I did want to bring up two things. One of which is like we do have Mike and Ryan from Poor Man's have made their way
Their
back into
video quality right now is on point.
Yeah,
Well,
whose
it's-
phone are you
I was
using
gonna say
now?
it's a phone, and it's definitely a selfie.
Yeah, it's super uncomfortable.
I can imagine.
You look good though.
Yeah, the picture quality's good if that counts for anything, which it doesn't.
And we like your beer, by the way. We said really nice things
We
about
did.
your
Oh
beer.
yeah, we
Thank
talked
you.
really nicely about your alt beer.
When I
Thank
checked
you.
it in, I checked it in on Tapped, and my comment was, "Don't tell them I rated it so high because we were supposed to badmouth it."
Oh
now that you're back.
we had a whole
Oh, right.
plan. We
Yeah,
forgot.
and you both already fucked it up, so it's cool.
Whenever you guys came back, we were going to try and say how bad this beer was, and we hated it, and it was shitty, and we totally forgot.
I was telling him, Ryan, like when we brew and we exchange crowlers, I was like, just don't bring me the alt beer ever, please. It's terrible.
The only thing it's good for is replacing the water in the toilet.
Oh boy.
There you go.
The other thing I wanted to say is that I think for my last meal, I would ask for the fried heart of my accuser. But that's just me.
Well, that won't happen. Meanwhile, you're gonna starve your last night alive. I would get Alfredo and or hot chicken.
And a hot chicken sandwich.
What about hot
Why
chicken
not?
Alfredo?
Yeah, but
That's what I was gonna say.
Get Alfredo in a jar.
Hot chicken Alfredo. I've been trying to say it. Look at him.
Broke him.
Oh boy.
But no,
Look
Ryan,
at him
seriously,
posing
that
with
alt beer
the ham.
No, that alt beer is legit freaking delicious.
Yes,
You
the
guys
alt beer
have
is
been
amazing.
Banging out some amazing freaking lagers, and I'm loving it. But the Break It, Bought It, it's
Yeah.
really fucking good.
Thank you.
It's
I had two
not.
of those. They're only
It's
$2.
tart and it's sweet, but it's not overly tart or overly sweet. It's really well balanced, which is not usually a phrase I use with a sour beer.
Nice, thank you. We used a new sour yeast. So instead of a kettle sour or like a long ferment bacteria sour, it's an ale yeast that produces lactic acid. So it makes the beer sour without any bacteria. It's Lawlemans makes it. It's called Philly Sour. That was our first beer we made with it. It's going to be kind of our new way of making sour beer because we're really happy with that one.
And did you use plum puree?
Yeah, we did. That was a 5-barrel batch. We used, I think, 84 pounds of plum puree in that.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a kind of weird color. I was really hoping to get like a little more pleasant of a color. That was the only thing I really like about it was the color of that beer.
Is plum puree easier to get than raspberry puree?
Oh,
Apparently.
dude, it's so much easier. It's
Okay.
also like half the price.
Yeah, because somebody gives a shit about plums most of the time.
they're not
Yeah,
super
exactly.
popular.
It's like for 42 pounds, it's like $70.
Yeah,
They'll,
like,
basically give you the shit.
Get that, get date puree, and then fucking
Date puree?
yeah, I know, right? It sounds terrible. And prunes, prune puree,
Pruins.
Pruins.
Ooh,
Pruins.
that's a warrior's drink.
That is a warrior's drink. I was just thinking the same thing. What?
Wow.
Wharf.
Oh,
There's a warrior's drink.
Oh, how did I miss that?
Oh, prune juice. Our mom, I was going to say my mom, but she's your mom too.
You don't know that.
Used to give us prune juice. Well, me, when I was a kid, if I was constipated. And I hated it. And it's like traumatic. If I taste prune juice now, it's like I have like PTSD about it.
You know, Dr. Pepper is mostly prune juice, right?
But I like Well, I don't like Dr. Pepper. I can tolerate Dr. Pepper.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That
The
can't
most
be.
prominent of the 23 flavors is prune juice.
Now we lost Moo-Duck
I know.
Mike.
Every time I'm about to say we should wrap this up and get on to last call, we lose someone.
Somebody disappears.
Well, so here's the thing about that. It's tradition on the show to drink King Slava. Do we want
Are we
to?
drinking it on the episode or in last
That's
call?
the thing. Do
I
we
think we
want
should
to
drink it at last call.
I think it's better suited for last call.
Yeah, I think.
Mike, should we drink it in the regular episode or last call?
Which Mike are you talking to?
Yes.
Obviously, I'm screaming, so I'm talking to Moo-Duck Mike.
Okay. He went to get himself more beer.
God, it's so funny watching
There he
Ryan and
is.
Mike try to like frame the perfect selfie.
I mean, you can put the phone down. We're not recording video, guys. It's okay.
Well, we're currently plugged into a wall inside of my basement, so we don't really have anything to put the phone down on.
This is horrible.
Because the phone's dead.
You guys
On
are
top of the dead
troopers.
laptop, on top of the failed Wi-Fi.
You guys are troopers.
So the Moo-Duck staff left, so now I got to get up and leave and get my own.
Make your own beers. Obviously,
So I just
Well,
get your own beer.
Listen, he already made his own beer. Now he has to pour his own beer. Yeah. So, Mike, we had a thought while you were pouring your own beer, or grabbing your own beer. It is tradition for us to drink King Slava on the show. However, we're kind of feeling that might be better suited for last call, if that's okay with you.
Nice.
Okay.
That's the perfect last call beer.
You are damn right, my friend.
We also didn't open Oats and Hose.
We didn't either, but I feel like we've had that on the show before.
Oh, we have. We've had obviously Going Broke.
True. Well,
Is
I mean,
he on the phone right now?
oh my God.
This is all just devolving. And I guess Sam's just a lost cause at this point.
Aw, Sam.
Poor guy. Feel bad.
Well, yeah, there's a lot that has happened, and people have lost internet, and may have used that as an excuse to never talk to us again. But I would be remiss if I did not ask. We'll start off, Mike. Where should people go if they want to learn more about Moo-Duck?
Yeah, so ours is pretty simple. It's at Moo-Duck anything. So MooDuckBrewery.com, at Moo-Duck on Facebook, at Moo-Duck on Instagram. We don't really use Twitter very often, so don't go find us there. Although we're technically on it, but pretty much everything at MooDuckBrewery.com or at Moo-Duck Brewery, whatever social media you're on.
Perfect. And then, Ryan, where should people go if they want to find more about Poor Man's?
So no Twitter for us, but it's Poor Man's Brewing Co. on Instagram, Poor Man's Brewing on Facebook, and then our website is poormansbrewingco.com.
Oh, we got Ham 11 and 12 over there.
Oh, shit.
Well,
Mike's going strong.
See, the problem is I went to pick up number 10, and then I realized that number 9 still has some in it.
Number
So it's
9
9 and 10.
Number 9.
It's a nearly empty
Number
9 and a full
9.
10.
Number 9.
Yeah.
If you want to
Number
find Beer
9.
Busters on the internet.
Number 9. Twitter, Twitter and Instagram at Beer Busters. Facebook, we are Beer Busters Podcast. Don't forget beerbusterspodcast.com. Also /shop. Get yourself some sweet swag. YouTube.com/Beer Busters Podcast. Watch Happy Fun Time games because Wayne has a lot of cool animations and like it looks really good. It looks really good. I'm very proud of what you've been able to do with that.
There were two main things that inspired me to start doing the game videos. One was that we're doing all our shows on Zoom now, so we can just hit record and we have video, which is nice. The second is that I always thought the games would be cooler if you could like see the questions while it was going on.
It works. I like it. It works really well.
I just wanted to make videos so you could see the questions.
That is awesome. Thank you for doing that. Patreon.com/BeerBusters. Get yourself access to things like Last Call and a special behind-the-scenes feed and look at the world of Beer Busters besides what you are hearing, as well as our latest creation that is a Patreon exclusive that is a movie-themed podcast where we drink and talk about a movie every episode, a movie that we are all fond of. And if you're a patron, I'm hesitating to say the name of it so far because it might not be set in stone what the name is. So if you're a patron, listen to it if you feel so inclined, and then I'm curious what you think of the name of it. So if you're not a patron, $1 a month is all it takes, and you get access to all of these goodies. One other thing that I did not mention at the top of the show is coming up March 8th and 9th, we are going to be part of the Philadelphia Grain and Malt Symposium, courtesy of our friends at Deer Creek Malt House, and is also done with U Sciences here in Philly. It is sure to be a good time because our involvement is going to be a happy hour to wrap up the whole thing, where we're going to talk pizza and beer and the positives that have come out of the COVID environment and how breweries are able to pivot and keep up with the trends, such as, Moo-Duck now canning, which I think is fantastic that you guys are able to do that. That's awesome.
So, yeah, you can go to
grainandmaltsymposium.com.
Thank you. I was going to say it and then pause and be like, is that right? But you already knew the right answer. So, and check out our social medias. We have a press release on our website. They've got the agenda on their website. Check it out. Like Dan said, we're closing out. We're actually closing out really the whole event. We're the last thing that's happening. So we definitely want you to check that out if you like us and you want to see us do that. Tickets are pretty cheap. The whole event's like $12.
Yeah.
Gets you pretty much everything. But there's a lot of other cool things, and it's not all about beer. There's stuff about distilling, but there's also stuff about bread and anything that has to do with grain and agriculture, really, in Pennsylvania. So it's a cool event. Check it out.
Yeah, I am very much looking forward to it. Well, we're going to go one by one brewery-wise. Mike from Moo-Duck, thank you for joining us for this episode.
Thanks for having me. Always fun, guys.
Likewise. And, of course, Mike and Ryan, thank you guys from Poor Man's. And I will send the thank you out to Sam as well, even though he doesn't have internet to rejoin this call. But I will say thank you to you guys.
Thoughts and prayers,
with
Sam.
an addition
Thoughts
to
and prayers.
Sam. Thank you for joining us again.
Thanks for having us, guys. Sorry we had so much technical difficulty.
Don't worry about it. Only like 30% of it was your fault.
We're used to it.
Well, this does bring us to the end of another episode of Beer Busters. And if you have been listening to this podcast for any length of time and you have not had either Moo-Duck or Poor Man's beers, you got to change that like right fucking now. Go out and get the beers. Go to E-Town. Go to Ephrata. I guess like they're both kind of E-Towns in a way.
They are. They
In a
both
way,
begin with the letter E.
They start with E. How many other towns in Pennsylvania start with E?
It's not Ephrata town.
There's a whole county.
It could be. It could be.
Erie starts with
Not
E.
with that attitude. Also, thank you. I forgot about Erie because nobody cares about Erie. No offense if you're listening to this from Erie.
Easton.
Anyway, I'm Dan Baker,
Easton's
joined by...
do it.
And...
Steph Hefner.
Way Baker's here, too. I'm here.
Squids, baby chicks.
I'm here. I'm on the podcast. That's a lot of raspberry.